My source told me that a high-level meeting was called about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They announced the high-level meeting about 2 or 3 weeks ago where the important people, well, that's what I'll call them. I know exactly who they were, but I'm not going to say it. The important people in the Treasury were all called for a very specific meeting. It just so happens that my source was one of those people. I didn't know what the meeting was about until now. Now I do know what the meeting was about, and this was my big news that I said was coming a few days ago when I intended to go live, but didn't. It turns out that the incoming Treasury Secretary himself was at this meeting and personally called the meeting, and it was only for people that were, like I said before, higher up in the Treasury. It was on a need-to-know basis, and the reason for that is they don't want this stuff leaking to the mainstream media yet, because it could create a whole thing in Congress that holds up just about everything in regards to what they want to do. The meeting was about switching their release, if you want to call it, of the current Federal Reserve-backed currency to a new currency that is backed by gold. Now, this isn't startling news, I don't think. We've been talking about it for 5 years on my show. Everybody's talking about it. Robert Kiyosaki talks about it. Bix Ware talks about it. Trump himself talks about it. But now the Treasury is talking about it. That is a totally different level than anything we've speculated about before or assumed before or read a certain way before. This is a whole new plateau. This is a whole new level from where we were with our sleuth detective work. They are literally talking about switching currency from a Federal Reserve-backed dollar to a gold-backed U.S. Treasury note. And by the way, just as we assumed, it will be called a note. The term dollar is going to be thrown away forever. There will be no more dollars. So when you say, how much is that hamburger, and it's 10, you're not going to say $10. You're going to say 10 notes. I know it's going to sound a little weird at first. It's going to take some getting used to for sure, but we've done this in the past, and it's a generational thing. So the new generations that are coming up, they're never even going to know what a dollar was. So now, with that bit of intel that we just got, doesn't necessarily mean that we're full-blown Nasera. I don't have that intel right now. I was told and reported about a year ago, right around now, a year ago, that Nasera was already enacted. And things are progressing towards Nasera. That was a year ago. And here we are now, fast forward a year later, Trump back in office, we're talking about the Treasury releasing what they call a note. Now, I find it interesting that a lot of the new ATM machines that we've seen go in circulation over the last 12 months since I had that live, or around the time that I had that live, no longer say dollar on them. You know how they have that embossed print on the ATMs? You know, say insert dollar here or insert bill here. Now they say insert note. The minimum ratio should be 7-to-1 gold to silver. Minimum. But that's not accounting for the reserves, which are lied about and reversed. It's not accounting for the fact that silver gets destroyed as it comes out of the ground, gets destroyed. That is going to flip. It's gonna be at least a 1-to-1 ratio if silver doesn't actually get ahead of gold in its spot value because of these things. That's the logic behind it. Now, if gold becomes so, I don't want to say scarce, but so protected of a metal because of the United States using it to back their currency, and the price therefore skyrocket, and I'm not talking like it's gone up to about 3,000, it's hovering around 3,000 or so. I'm talking about 3,000, 30,000 an ounce, like times 10 what it is right now. Very, very, very likely. If that's the case and gold goes to 30,000, silver, if it's on the same ratio, will go to 30,000. If silver ends up creeping above gold, maybe silver's 40,000 an ounce, maybe gold is 30, maybe it's 20 and 25, maybe it's 15. These little days of $3,000 an ounce gold and 32, I think it's at now, silver, gone. All that has to happen is the government make that announcement, and you will see it the following day. You're going to tune in and you're going to try to get some metal, and you won't be able to. It is going to be far too expensive for any of you to buy. You will not be able to do it. I'm telling you right now, you will not be able to do it.